you looking for valuable business advice to reach that 7-figure revenue mark? Do you want actionable tips to properly navigate through every business challenge you encounter along the way? Let Tersh Blissett and Josh Crouch be your guide in getting you to the top here at Service Business Mastery. Tune in as they sit down with world-renowned authors in business, leadership, and personal growth who share valuable insights about management, marketing, pricing, human resources, and so much more. Let their nuggets of wisdom gold guide you in owning a thriving, profitable, and ever-growing business. Here are your hosts, Tersh and Josh.
All right, we are back live at the Women in HVACr event.
Are you sure we're not at AHR?
We're not at I make sure I look at you every time I say that now. So we are here with Stephanie Allen, co-owner of Airworks, and Jessica Woodruff Smith, who is a part of Lady Titans and also works with Stephanie at Airworks now. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Awesome. So, Stephanie, you told us a little bit before we started recording.
The tricky thing about podcasting is you have amazing conversations before you hit the record button or you go live.
Yes, you're getting to know each other.
And it's like, let's do that again. And then you try and redo it. And it's,
do you remember exactly what you just said?
Yeah. It's kind of like my cooking. My husband says you better enjoy it the first time because you're not going to make it again. I don't write it down. There's no recipe.
You just kind of like, well, I'm going to put a little bit of that, a little bit of this.
That's my creative
But next
outlet.
time it's going to be a little different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember.
Yeah. You should record it.
I could.
Like a TikTok.
But
That wouldn't be as
Not me either. That's
Yeah.
the problem with these recordings. Like, I have 2 terabytes of recordings, and it's like, I don't really want to watch myself.
No.
You know?
Yeah.
So
Or maybe somebody else could make it.
tell us about you and how you got in your business. And I love the fact that I seen your van and you're on the side of it, which is really awesome.
Yeah. My girls and I are on the side of the van. It was something that I fought for a little while because I was used to playing number 2 in the company. Kevin was the face of the company. He is the one that was out in the field, really reaching the customers and our community. So we moved back home to where we went to high school to raise our family with family and start our business there. And everybody loves Kevin.
Yeah.
Nobody likes Stephanie. Everybody loves Kevin. Kevin was the guy. He's so personable and friendly, and I was always taking care of business, right? Like I wanted to make sure everybody was safe, everybody was fed, everyone was taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not always fun,
right?
But we're changing those personalities a little bit, and it really promoted the brand who we are, right? We're family run, but we're mom approved. I'm the one that makes sure my seal of approval essentially is on everything that goes out the door, whether that's marketing or compensation plans or customer experience. Now, this train has gotten
I was going to say, as you grow and you have grown,
yeah.
How overwhelming or has it been overwhelming putting your stamp of approval on everything? Does it feel like you're micromanaging at any point? Yeah.
But at the same point, I have done a really great job, and I will pat myself on the back of hiring well. Right. So
it's amazing. It's amazing the difference in a good hire and a bad hire, and how much more work you have to do when you do a bad hire. You're like, man, I could have done this without you, and less. And then a good hire is like, oh, where have you been my whole life?
Well, can we preface that? So you're in California.
Correct.
And Jessica, who now works for you, is in Massachusetts. So
Yeah.
it almost couldn't be any further apart.
Yeah.
You're in Southern California.
Uh-huh.
So tell us a little bit about that, since we're talking about hiring and making good hires. How did something like that come about?
Yeah, so we transitioned to service titan at the beginning of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And I figured out that this software was just more robust than I could possibly handle, even with Kelly, who's been on my team for 8 years. And we worked really well together, and it was something she wanted to take on. She was also helping run the business.
Oh, yeah.
And so we didn't have a dedicated person that was just implementing and creating processes and making sure that we were utilizing the software to
that's a challenge in
it's like half.
Yeah. Just getting I just want a little bit on the leaderboard. I don't have to be like at the top of the board. But
No, I do.
When we, yeah.
She does. I've seen
Jessica
you.
does.
She's
I've been on that leaderboard a couple of times, and I'm like, all right, I made this leaderboard. I'm done. Like,
So we worked with a consultant in business, and he said most people use about 3%. of service training.
What?
And I said, I am making a better investment than that.
Yeah.
I will utilize this software. And so we were digging in, and I was asking questions, and oh, you're a sophisticated user. I didn't feel sophisticated. I didn't know any of the answers. I just knew what I wanted it to do.
Yeah.
And so I reached out a little in the community and said, if I were to hire an expert, who would that be?
Mhm.
And someone said, the only person I can think of that's the best, right, better than this person I was speaking to, was Jessica. And I said, all right, let me try.
Mhm.
So I friended her, I messaged her, I followed her. She's like, who the heck is this lady?
Stalker.
Right? And I think I asked you in a Facebook message if we could talk.
Yeah.
Right? And we had a 20-minute conversation. I asked her what she wanted and I paid her that. And now she's on my team.
Oh, dang. That's what's up.
Yeah.
So,
I like that.
real
That's taking
quick,
action right
would
there.
you introduce yourself?
I'm Jessica Woodruff-Smith. I've been in the trades for 16 years. 15 of that was with my dad's company. And I, in the last 5 or so years, have really stepped up in bringing women into the trades.
Mhm.
We founded Lady Titans 2 years ago, and just trying to make a difference.
So what made you deep dive into the software side of things?
I like to be the best at things.
Yeah, it's competition.
When Service Titan first introduced their Titan Score leaderboard, I needed to be at the top of it.
Hmm.
And then I betaed their Titan Advisor program and got to the top of that.
Hmm.
And then I was very disappointed when my dad sold his company and it fell off the leaderboard.
Oh man.
So I've gained us 100 points in 6 months.
Oh
So
yeah.
I'm coming.
I didn't know what
Which is
it meant.
good. Which is good.
We're coming with a new company.
Yeah.
Watch your back.
We're coming with a vengeance. Yeah, that's hilarious.
And I had no idea really who I was hiring. So I liked Jessica and she said she could do great things.
Yeah.
I had no idea how networked she was. And hiring her onto the team has empowered me to be a better leader, to step into my leadership role, to start networking. The community that she's brought us into is just amazing. So I'm a new member for HVACr. I'm a new member for Lady Titans. And I am so excited about what we're going to do together.
Yeah, that is really exciting. Now, when you say networking, are you saying like nationally networking or local, like your local network?
National networking.
Yeah.
My husband and I, that's how we got started. Because
Same.
networking is free.
Hmm.
Right? We couldn't afford anything else.
Yep.
So we would volunteer at chamber events and pour the wine because we couldn't afford the ticket to the event.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And generally, somehow I negotiated a VIP wristband normally at those events. So
That's what's up.
we would pour the wine for people, we would hobnob with them, and
Yeah.
then eventually now we're sponsored.
That's cool. It's wild to see that change there from when you first started networking, which is weird. If you've never networked and like the first time going there, and if you don't have somebody taking you along to say, do this, don't do that, it's like, I'm gonna stand in the corner over here and like observe for a little while, and hopefully I don't look like a weirdo that's just staring at people.
And you realize that nobody's even looking at you.
Yeah.
It's just all in your head.
Exactly.
When I met Stephanie 6 months ago, she didn't really know anybody.
Yeah.
And I've since introduced her to Stephanie Costell,
Yeah.
and Leslie Harpole, and Cassie Pound, and we're going to do some amazing things working with those ladies.
Yeah, they are definitely movers and shakers in the industry, and they are very boisterous as well. So
That's
we talked about that yesterday on the show.
So, Stephanie, you've been in business a while now.
Yeah.
Since 2010, I think you told us.
That's what I was saying.
Okay. So, tell us about, and what we're focused on here is like pain points.
Okay.
And either whether there's something that you have overcome in the past or even something more current that is a challenge that you're either trying to overcome or have overcome recently. Is there anything that comes to mind when you think of the pain point?
I think there's continual lessons.
Yeah.
Right? And you forget where you've come from, and then you have to relearn that lesson again. Kevin and I, a year or two ago, said we will not be held hostage.
By like a technician.
Period.
Oh.
We will not be held hostage anymore. Because we felt hostage to customers.
Okay.
We felt hostage to our team.
Yeah.
And we felt like we weren't running the ship. We were letting others steer us,
Oh yeah.
right? And we felt, especially with the labor shortage, if you will, or the skilled talent, we didn't know where to go. We didn't know what to do. And so we were letting our team dictate
Oh yeah, been there, done
Um,
that. Got that T-shirt.
And we were keeping people on the team that shouldn't be.
Mhm.
And we're done with that. So that's definitely been a pain point. And I would rather pull in less revenue and have a bigger bottom line.
Mhm.
You know, we had people just running the efficiency.
Oh yeah, they're just ruining
Ruining
it.
it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And what's the point? You're not in business for huge revenue. And I mean, that's what you talked about in the lead-in,
hmm
right?
Yeah.
Right. Maybe that should
But
change
that's
to,
the bottom line number.
yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Let's talk about
It's a
that.
vanity number, that top line number. And if you're making, $5 million, but you're losing $5,001, it's, well, we just
Might as well
lost
go get a
money.
job.
Yeah,
Why be a
exactly.
$30 million bankrupt company?
Exactly. 100%. 100%. Yeah. So what have you done I mean, because it's easy to say that. It's hard to put that into action, especially if you're emotionally attached to the individual. Because there's times for us where it's like I have a bleeding heart syndrome, and it's like, yeah, but they have a family and they have, all this stuff, and I'm like, oh, just pull the plug.
I figured out that when somebody's on the team and they're not the right fit, we're actually doing them a disservice by keeping them.
Oh yeah, explain what you mean there.
They're not able to grow in their position because they're in the wrong seat on the bus. They might even be on the wrong bus.
Mm-hmm.
So it is actually in their best interest to tell them what's going on and to help them transition.
Oh, that's good.
So it was doing a disservice to the rest of our team members as well as that individual.
Did you notice an uptick in the other team members when that person left?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Toxic culture is toxic and it spreads.
Like wildfire.
It's like a virus.
Yeah.
It really is, because as soon as those parking lot meetings start happening, one person pulls one side and another one joins and another one joins.
And that's one of the problems in growth is that, Kevin and I just kept telling ourselves that we had this fantastic culture, we have this fantastic team, because that's what we believe, that's what we wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And then you pull back a few layers of the onion, and you dig in a little bit, you figure out that there needs to be more focus in those areas.
Mm.
So by, even here at this conference, Jessica and I are talking a lot about what our roles are going to be when we go back.
Oh yeah.
Now, she works remote.
Mm-hmm.
Is she your first remote hire?
So we went remote in COVID for a little while, but that was the team that was local, that were remote and
Okay.
coming back. But yeah, she's our first remote hire.
Okay.
Which has opened up all sorts of possibilities in and of itself.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But this conversation is, you need to do all of the things that can be done remotely. And I need to do the things that need to be done in person. So
Okay.
I will be doing more ride-alongs. I will be more in the field. Now, some of that has been slowed by our family also. So
Yeah, because you have a newborn, don't you?
I have a 14-month-old.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty new.
So,
Newborn to me.
We've rolled
A
from
14-year-old.
we've rolled from one baby to the next, and we are very involved. And my kids are born at home,
Yeah, that's cool.
right? So
How many kids do you have?
we have three.
3. Okay.
The first one came without assistance, without a midwife. It was just Kevin and I. That's the partnership that we've had. It wasn't intentional, but it worked.
Kevin. He's there.
Yeah.
I
He's
learned
there.
that story this
He's
week.
there.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
He's all
I mean,
there.
I did the work. It's hot, but everyone says go Kevin.
That's an important catch. It's the most important catch we'll ever make.
Yeah, good work also. Thank you.
Good job, Stephanie.
We're not discrediting your work.
Not at all. Not even slightly.
We joke about it because who do you celebrate? It's the quarterback, but who really does the rest of the work?
Right.
So Kevin always
That's
says
very
it's the
true.
quarterback.
a
That's
great
hilarious.
analogy.
I do know that when my kids were born, I was like, oh, I was like wheezy over on the couch, and the doctor was like, sit him down. Sit that guy down. So
You wouldn't have been a good wife.
more power to Kevin, because
Yeah.
that's not me at all.
And now he's like, hey, if you need help, give me a call. You're to operate. Why is that? You cannot do that, babe. I
That's
understand that you're
hilarious.
just trying to be helpful, but some things you can't
That's
help with.
awesome. That's hilarious. Oh, I'll never forget that. That's awesome.
So I love that with hiring. So you went from because Tertia has obviously been remote for a while.
Uh-huh.
My business is remote. You went from outside of the COVID stuff, everyone's here in the office
Yeah.
every single day.
Yeah.
But you saw a pain point. You realized that there probably wasn't someone local that was going to be able to come in the office every day to be able to do what Jessica's doing for your business.
100% on that role, 100%. There was, I mean, I didn't really have to look too far once I found her. We're just going to make it work.
Yeah.
So once we did that, now I've been remote for a long time, which I haven't really considered.
What do you mean by that?
So because I had babies and we were moving
Yeah.
in and out, I wasn't necessarily in the office all the time.
Okay, yeah.
I would come in for meetings, but I could do a lot of the work remotely. We're on Google
Right.
Chats and
Mhm.
Space and
Yeah.
all of those things. So we've kind of developed the ability to be remote. We just hadn't done it without the support team. And then Kelly, who I mentioned earlier, she had a baby in June. So she had been remote a little bit before that. She wanted to stay home, and we're making it work. We're really trying to have the life-work balance
Mhm.
for as many people on the team as possible. Now, our technicians, our installers, they can't work from home,
Right.
They have to
Yeah,
work
yeah.
in the field. But we are aware of their family needs also.
Mhm.
We do shout outs before the first day of school. Who's going to need to come in late on what day? What's happening? How are we handling that? Hey, it's holiday season. Who has, holiday plays to go to, and what's happening, and what do we need to be aware of ahead of time? Because we want to make sure that our people are able to participate in their family's life the way that they want to also. Who's doing soccer coaching? Can we sponsor that team? And you have to be off by 3 on what days of the week,
Yeah.
right? So
That's a big thing. Whenever, if someone's like, I was never around my family, like work always took me away. It's easy to find another job where, especially even if they don't deliver on it, if they promise like, hey, look, you'll be off by 4 every afternoon. And it's like, okay, like even if it might be a little pay cut, whatever. But then if you can do what you're doing and
It's always
still,
the little things.
it is those little
Always
things,
the little
and
things.
finding out the one thing. Like for me, the soccer games are on Saturdays. I don't want to go to soccer practice, so like don't have me off by on time. Like I'm requesting to work later, but so that's not really a great thing for me. But for me, I kind of want to work the weekends. So just learning what really does matter. Just I say that because I'm often the type of person that assumes like, oh, your kids play soccer? That must mean you want to do X, Y, and Z. And it's like, actually, no, I don't want any part. That's the most boring sport ever. No, my kids play soccer, by the way. So it's
talking
They're
about
pretty good too.
having conversations with your team. We had been trying for so long to get a weekend tech or on-call tech, and we were going through rotations and doing all of these things, and then we finally brought it to the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Said, hey, we're really looking
Oh yeah, that's
for
a good
Saturday
point.
work. And one of our technicians raised his hand and said, hey, my wife's off on Wednesdays. Can I have Wednesday off and work Saturdays?
Yeah.
We have a volunteer for that?
Isn't it crazy? That was probably like an eye-opening moment because it was that simple, just asking.
Yeah, we didn't have to
Just asking
volunteer anybody.
Exactly. It's like bribing them with a whole bunch of extra
Right.
pay or anything like that.
Right.
It's just asking the team. And yeah, I'm preaching to the choir here. I am so guilty of that. Like I just assume, and I know that I'm not supposed to. Every time I do, it's like, church, you're an idiot. Stop doing that every single time.
And I'm going to bring it back to remote work a little bit. So
Yeah, I was going to ask you a little bit about it.
Jessica. So since Jessica's been remote, and she had worked remote prior to that, and she's been really able to help us develop remote culture.
So share
That's where the gifts come
that.
in.
Yeah. Well, so
gifts
I guess-
with a T and without.
that's hilarious.
You got to be
Gifts and GIFs. Or are we going to fight about
Is it-
that?
No, we're not gonna.
Yes, let's fight about it. I'm going to throw this something at you.
Jif,
What else?
Jif,
Send
Jif
you-
is peanut butter.
She'll
so-
send you a gift to talk about it.
So tell me this before you start, Jessica. Before you start,
She's like, can I search the gifts right now?
what is the pain point? Like, what was the pain point that you had? Like the number one things that come to mind for either one of you when it came to remote. I know being remote, like there's times, like you said, you forget about some of the things you've gone through until they come full circle. You hire a new person and you're like, oh crap, I forgot I had to deal with that one time before. What would y'all say is one of the biggest pain points of having remote staff?
Terminating.
Oh yeah, that's
Oh
a
yeah.
that's a good one. That is okay. So how did you solve that?
It's been challenging. We have
Because
done a little bit of cleaning house.
How much stuff goes to them Like, do you actually, because I know some companies will ship a laptop to them. Some companies are like, hey, part of this job is you're required to have your own computer and a steady Wi-Fi or a steady internet feed. Do you provide anything to them?
We provide it all.
Okay. And so you have to get it all back.
Yeah.
Are you willing to, okay, so this is a different question.
Yes.
Are
I'd
you,
be willing to lose it if I had to.
right. So are you willing to ship that to a different country though, to have a remote staff employee in a different country?
I think, yeah, I mean, I don't see why not.
Yeah.
I'm a yes first, and then like, oh, wait, let's think about the legal ramifications of all that. So
Yeah.
I don't know how the HR and tax and all the other things would work, and I'd probably not have to be an employee.
But you're in
Contractor.
California, so it's probably against the law,
Probably.
I imagine.
Most things are.
Yeah.
That's a great.
Okay. What would you say other than terminating?
Making sure they're present, not distracted, doing their job, available for the phone. How many calls have we missed?
We haven't had as much of a problem with our support team and engagement, I think, as we do when we try to do remote service meetings or remote installer meetings, which we also do because we generally start at the job location. So instead of having everyone come to the come to the shop. So now it's, hey, you have to have your camera on.
Turn the camera
you need
on.
to be in front of it. We're expecting
It's like
participation.
sitting on the things,
Looking at the roof of the truck.
Yeah. Like, come on.
Same thing with required forms and Service Titan, right? So we were told, oh, you'll get pictures of somebody's shoe, and you'll get pictures of a car, and all
The
these
back of your iPad
No,
case.
our team.
Uh-uh.
We would never get those. We get them all the time.
Yeah. That's about irritating. That's tough. So one of the things that we started doing, well, we did this a long time ago because we actually had a what was she, a CSR? I think, yeah, pretty sure she was CSR. Yeah, CSR. And we had this thing where like we had Zoom pretty much, like we weren't real strict about them being on Zoom. But then we were listening to call recordings and we heard like sound like a barber shop in the background. And she, sure enough, she was getting her hair did and catching calls on the phone. And I was like, oh, nope.
I used to do that when we just started the company and I was working on a cell phone, and you would hear like the supermarket in the background. Still on aisle 6. So that's a total aside. I'm trying to cover the phone, trying to make it all work.
We've
sound
been
really
there, especially when the
professional.
business is small. I was the guy who would answer nights and weekends and be out and doing something like, oh, shoot, like you hit mute on your phone real quick. But so with the remote stuff with you, Jessica, so it's obviously different being in person, right? Like building culture in person is a totally different thing than building it remotely.
How is that?
Yeah, how are you guys actively trying to do that?
I think part of the juggle right now is not only with building culture, but we're changing our team. So we had figured out
double whammy
that
there.
we did not have middle management, right? We had lots of doers and we had leadership, but we didn't have middle management. And so that's our pain point right now, is that we're hiring in that middle level. And so it's all new. The culture's new. And they're coming in and saying, why are we doing things this way? What's happening? And so we're in a time of change, of transformation, really. And I'm so excited for what's on the other side of it. It's a little bit painful and uncomfortable right now, but kind of in a good way. You know, like when you work out and it hurts.
No, that's not good.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
He does not like
No,
that.
I do
Like
not.
that's
Nope.
no.
You see me, I'm a round shape. That's for a reason. Because I
I asked
do
my
not.
husband once. I said, I want to get in shape. He said, round shape.
It is a
Don't
shape.
say that to your wife.
True. Oh yeah, I wasn't saying that
Pro
about you.
tip.
I'm just saying, round is a shape. It's my shape, and that's my shape of preference because I don't like working out. I hate it with a passion.
It's important for your heart health, for your kids.
Well, I'm sure it's great for it all, but it's not great for
You know,
me
you
the
can just
next
walk,
day.
right? You can just walk and
Ooh,
listen.
wow.
You can just
30
walk
minutes a
and
day.
listen to our podcast.
Or listen to somebody
I
else.
don't want to listen to myself. I don't want to see myself. I don't want to listen to myself. I got a face for radio and a voice for something for Braille. That's it.
Jessica's work from home setup is pretty unique.
It is.
Sure.
Which part are you talking about?
How many screens do you have?
Oh,
going
I
on,
have
Jess?
4 screens.
That's what's up.
That's envy right here.
And
I got two, and
I
I feel
think-
like I'm missing out.
I think I would have more screens if I had more space. I'm just out of space, and I don't think my
So how do
laptop
you,
will
how do you
drive
set
them.
that up? Like you have
I
four
have-
You
screens.
should see it.
Like what
I have a
is
picture.
what do you have on these screens? Like how do you keep yourself
So,
organized?
I
'Cause
have-
otherwise, it can be too much too, right?
I have
You got-
two big screens,
Okay.
and then over here I have a small screen and my laptop.
Okay.
The small screen up here has dial pad, so I
Okay.
can see what's happening.
Okay.
Down here I've got my email, my chats, so I can stay on top of everything. Then I'm working on the big screens.
Hmm.
Generally, I have like whatever I'm working on and whatever I'm referencing.
Okay.
That's exactly. I mean, that sounds exactly like mine. I have two 53-inch televisions that are
Mine
monitors,
aren't that big.
and then there's two
Thanks,
like.
Church. Now I'm buying TVs.
Oh yeah.
While you're at
Very
it,
The only
versatile.
thing you bought me is my laptop. I bought everything else
So
so
far.
far.
Get the 75-inch one.
You might as well get two 75s. But then I have two monitors right on top of each other, and it can be overwhelming at times. But what I find is that I end up with a ton of browsers open, especially if I'm trying to figure out something. Like whenever I was trying to get my certified administrator thing, I was like, I had everything open everywhere, trying to like test it to figure it
I
out.
probably average like 63 open tabs a day.
Yeah, my computer's like, stop,
I was like,
please.
Just you're not sharing the screen you're looking at. Can you pull it into our view?
Oh, that's even better. Stephanie and Jessica, I really appreciate y'all hanging out with us. We're coming up on our 30-minute mark. If there's one thing that each one of you would like to share to somebody who may be just starting a business or just starting to go remote, what's one thing that you would like to share with them?
Take it day by day. Try it, fail forward, be open to change. And it didn't work today. Let's try something different. I think that a lot of our success in the last year has been the ability to pivot quickly, but also that we're tracking and measuring.
So
I didn't allow any tracking numbers before Jessica.
it was
Oh,
like
I'm sure
gut
that's
feeling.
changed.
Oh my gosh, we have,
I'm sure
we have
that's
numbers
changed.
everywhere. I'm texting, I need a number for this. I need a number for that.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so track and measure, look at what's going on, change things when the numbers aren't showing what you want them to be showing, and be open with your team and receptive to their ideas.
What about you?
So,
She took them all.
We asked for one, she gave us 9. But
Be flexible.
I love it.
Be flexible. Listen to your team. See what's working. See what's not.
well, and just the story right here, I love the fact that you saw a problem with starting a new software, and there's a lot of softwares out there that
And you
have a lot of.
didn't limit yourself
You limit yourself to just
with that
here.
area,
You
because I hear
found
that all the
someone
time.
who's-
It's like, there's nobody in my area that can do this. Well, I know there's plenty of people that can do it all over the place. Well, I don't want to hire
It's
someone
a
that's not right here.
web-based software.
But it's
Right.
and it's networking through, and that was probably through Facebook groups, but networking here, networking through those groups open you up to so many different opportunities.
Yeah.
That can grow your business and totally change what you're doing.
I don't like problem spotters. I like problem solvers.
Oh my gosh, I've had them before.
Yeah.
Problem spotters. You're like, hey, look at the problem over here. I'm
There's
like,
no solutions. It's always
So
that's the problem.
okay, so little small tangent. I had technicians many years ago who would call me constantly with problems. The day that I stopped this was I got 132 phone calls in one day from technicians calling about problems. And I created a rule that every time they called me with a problem, they must call with 3 solutions also. So then if there was, even if they weren't the right things, at least I know they put some thought into it. And the next day, I think I got like 4 calls. Well, actually, I'll take that back. The next day, I still got a bunch of calls, but every time I'd hang up on them instantly. They call me back and they say, I think we got disconnected. No, I hung up on you. Click. Did it again. And then the next day, they called me like 4 times and it had solutions every time. But yeah, that was, man, talk about
We enable that,
overwhelm.
though.
We
as
do.
business
It's
owners.
ego. It's our
If
ego.
we keep answering it,
Yes.
they'll keep asking.
100%.
We have to empower
Absolutely.
them.
100%. And be okay when they make mistakes.
Absolutely.
Cool. Thank y'all so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Service Business Mastery. Now that you are equipped with essential business advice from this impactful conversation, you are one step closer to becoming the successful owner of your dreams. If this episode has been helpful to your business journey, don't forget to subscribe to the show, leave a rating, and share it with other owners as well. Visit servicebusinessmastery.com to learn more.